The difficulties or challenges with the grade 2 Rockschool song Passionfruit. It's most important that you don't lock in with the music, you just keep it as one and one, and that is the bass and the hats. So that's challenge number one. When you get into this B section, the B section moves around a bit. You got straight bass hat, snare hat, bass hat, snare hat. Then you got bass hat, snare, bass hat, snare hat. So that's variation. So that's 1, 2, variation 2. Then you got variation 3 with the open hat. So it's this bar, but just with the open hat. So you have to be careful to get that open hat in place. Then you got this bar again, but the variation is with another snare drum here. And then that bar is that bar, and that bar is that bar. So this line 3 and line 4, if I'm counting right, 1, 2, 3, line 3 and line 5 are exactly the same. Then you got bass hat, snare hat, bass hat, snare hat, bass, snare, bass, flam, rest into the ride section. That's pretty straightforward. And then you got a ride, snare, bass. Then the same line here reoccurs here, and then you just lock in with the bass, ride, snare, bass, all three, ride, bass, ride again. So these two bars again repeat. And the good thing about this is that you just got an open hat there and no open hat with this line, an open hat there and no open hat with this line, and then you got your outro, which is bass, hat, snare, hat, 1, tom 1 or high tom, high, 2, floor, bass, flam, rest. So they're the challenges with this song. Passionfruit challenge number 1, to get the A section with the bass and the hat needs to be smack in the middle on the end. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4. If you get that nice and even, you'll have it quite well. Section B is with challenge, in terms of just being aware that there's an extra bass drum in the second bar. So it's that's the third line, and the fourth line has now an extra open hi-hat in the first, on the fore end of the first bar. So right here, and then it closes, and then there's an extra snare drum where there wasn't before. So you got to get those two snare drums in there. Next line is exactly the same as the third line, so that's all clear. And then this line here, so bar number 11 going up to 12 is bass, snare, bass, flam, rest. And then you're into the ride section, which is pretty straightforward. The last line and the first line in the next page are the same. So and then it locks in with bass, ride, snare, ride. He does that for 4 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4. So second line, third line. And when you get back into D section, it's very much like the first page, except it's pretty much the same in terms of the first line and then the second line, except there's just an open hat. Third line is the same as this, and then the fourth line is the same as both this line and this line. You just got an open hat here and here. So the first line of section D is, D. Then you close bass and you do that again, so that's the fourth line and then the fifth line here. It's just without an open hat, and then you do the same as you did here at the beginning of D, and then you do this line again, and then it's the last, which is the outro. E is have a listen to the actual full video as well, and I'm sure it'll make sense. Thanks.